All right, so we're diving into the power of habit today.
Okay.
You've given me all this stuff to read,
Right.
and I'm ready to learn about the science behind habits,
Yeah.
why we do what we do, and how we can change, and how we can kind of, you know, tweak those autopilot behaviors.
Teachers
Like reaching for that cookie jar when we're not even hungry.
like 40%
Yeah.
of what we do every single day is not even a decision.
Oh, wow.
It's just a habit.
Really?
So we're running on autopilot.
So like almost half of our day
Yeah.
is just like our
Yeah,
brains
right.
not even thinking.
Yeah, habits rule us.
That's kind of scary when
Yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
They're
so
too-
Duhigg is talking about this habit loop,
Yeah,
cue, routine, reward.
right.
So tell me more about like,
Yeah, so
So,
this
yeah.
loop, basically, your brain is always looking for ways to conserve energy.
Oh.
And so when you do something over and over again, like tying your shoes, your brain essentially says, hey, I got this.
Right.
We're going to create a shortcut here.
Okay.
And that shortcut
Yeah.
becomes a habit loop.
Okay.
And so the part of the brain that handles this is called the basal ganglia.
Okay.
And what's interesting is it frees up other mental space to do other tasks.
Okay, so it's like our brain is trying to just like
Yeah.
be more efficient.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, streamline things, make life a little easier.
Right. And so,
Yeah.
but then he also says that like the basal ganglia,
Yeah.
this same part of the brain
It can't tell
doesn't know the difference.
the difference between a good habit and a bad habit.
That's kind of unsettling.
So it's like, you know, those cravings you have for unhealthy snacks
Mhm.
or the endless scrolling on social media.
Yeah.
It all comes back to that.
So it's not even really like a willpower thing.
Well,
Sometimes it's like a
and
physical
that
will.
physical. It's
Ah.
brain chemistry. Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of cravings,
Yeah.
Duhigg also talks about this experiment with Julio the monkey
Oh, yeah.
and the blackberry juice.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Julio was taught to pull a lever whenever he saw certain shapes on a monitor.
Okay.
And at first,
Yeah.
he would get like this surge of activity in his brain, in his brain's reward center, when he received his blackberry juice.
Okay.
But over time, as they kept doing this experiment,
Yeah.
his brain started anticipating the reward
Oh, wow.
before he even got it.
So he was already getting the reward
Yeah, just seeing those shapes
before even
Yeah.
doing the thing.
was enough to trigger a craving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So his brain like made that connection.
Yeah, he created a habit loop.
Right. We're like,
The shapes were the cue,
okay.
pulling the lever was the routine,
Yeah.
and the blackberry juice was the reward.
Wow.
But what's interesting is,
Yeah.
you know, his brain was already experiencing the reward.
Before he even got
It's
it.
really crazy.
Yeah, that's how powerful
Yeah.
habits can be.
It's like a-
they really
Yeah, here's
create
your reward.
yeah, these neurological cravings
Yeah.
that can be so strong,
So strong.
even when we're not consciously aware of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, think about your own life.
What are some of those
Yeah.
subtle cravings that might be
Right.
influencing your daily routines?
Yeah, I'm thinking, okay, but like,
Tell me,
knowing about all this stuff
right?
doesn't make the cravings go away, right?
Well, no, understanding is just the first step.
Okay.
We also need to believe
Okay.
that change is possible.
Okay.
And we need willpower
Yeah.
to overcome those cravings.
Okay.
And so a great example of this is like Alcoholics Anonymous, where the program
Yeah.
helps people identify their triggers,
Yeah.
replace old routines with new ones,
Yeah.
and they build a new reward.
But isn't it like more than
Just replacing the habit. Like
Yeah.
there's something about
it's the belief?
the beliefs and the support system.
Yeah,
It seems to
AA provides a community and a
Right.
belief system
right.
that helps people cope
Yeah.
with stress and temptation
Yeah.
without turning to alcohol.
Right. So it's not just like
Yeah.
I'm going to
Well,
change.
it's
It's like I'm going to change and I have
The support,
the support and I have
the belief.
the belief
Yeah.
that I can do this.
Yeah. And that plays a huge role
Yeah.
in making those changes stick.
Okay. So then willpower,
Yeah.
he talks about willpower as being like a muscle.
Yeah. Think of it this way.
Okay.
If you spend all day
Yeah.
doing bicep curls,
Mm-hmm.
eventually your muscles are going to get tired
Okay.
and you're not going to be able to lift anything else.
Okay.
Willpower works the same way.
Okay.
if we exhaust all of our self-control
on
tedious tasks at work,
yeah,
we're more likely to give in
right.
to those unhealthy cravings later on.
Yeah, so like if I'm trying to like eat healthy and then I have like a really hard day at work,
right,
and I just like don't even want to think about,
you're going to reach for the donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So we have a limited
yeah,
supply of willpower each day.
Okay.
And we need to use it wisely.
So we've got to think about,
And that's where it gets practical.
Yeah.
Because if we know this,
Yeah.
we can make strategic choices
Right.
about how we structure our day,
Yeah.
and avoid draining our willpower,
Okay,
before we tackle those important goals.
So like if I want to go for a run after work,
Yeah.
I should maybe not do the most
Right.
mentally exhausting
Avoid those mentally exhausting tasks
right before.
Yeah. Heading home.
Okay, so we've talked about habit loop,
Yeah.
power of cravings,
Right.
belief,
Uh-huh.
and willpower.
Yeah.
So now what?
So now,
How do we actually,
how do we take all this knowledge
yeah,
and put it into action
actually change?
and start changing?
Yeah.
Well, luckily, Duhigg doesn't leave us hanging.
Okay. Good.
He provides a clear framework
Okay.
for habit change.
Okay.
And it all starts with a little detective work.
Okay.
We need to become aware of those unconscious routines
Okay.
that are driving our behavior.
So it's like we're
Yeah.
detectives.
Yeah, we're looking for clues.
We're looking for clues
About our habits.
Our habit. Tell me more about
Yeah,
that.
Okay, so habits often hide in plain sight.
Okay.
They become so automatic
Right.
that we barely even notice them.
Okay.
So Duhigg gives this example
Okay.
of this man
Yeah.
who habitually grabbed a cookie
Mhm.
from the kitchen
Yeah.
every afternoon.
Okay.
It wasn't even really about hunger.
Yeah.
It was a pure,
Like a routine.
unconscious routine.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
I do this every day.
Yeah.
So step one, like we're talking about, like, identifying the routine.
Yeah, identify that specific behavior
Right, but then why?
you want to change.
Why not just like change it to something healthy?
That's where step 2 comes in.
Okay.
Experimenting with rewards.
Okay.
It's not enough
Okay.
to just change the behavior. We need
Yeah.
to understand the underlying craving
Right.
that's driving the habit loop.
Okay.
So in the example of the cookie,
Yeah.
the guy experimented
Okay.
with different rewards.
Yeah.
Like going for a walk,
Mm-hmm.
chatting with a colleague,
Okay.
or having an apple instead.
Okay.
And this helped him figure out,
Okay.
What
was the real?
was he craving sugar,
Okay.
social interaction,
Right.
or just a break from work?
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Like a little science experiment on
Yeah.
yourself. Okay, so you're experimenting with the reward
Yeah, change the reward.
to really see.
Figure out.
The thing is, the real motivation
Okay.
behind the habit.
So then step 3,
Okay, so then
isolate the cue.
isolate the cue.
Okay.
This is where we try to figure out
Yeah.
what triggers the routine
Okay.
in the first place.
Like what is actually causing it?
Yeah, what's setting it in motion.
Right.
And this reminds me of this study that Duhigg mentions
Okay.
about eyewitness memory.
Yeah.
So apparently witnesses were more likely
Mhm.
to misremember facts
Oh, wow.
when they were questioned
Yeah.
by someone who was smiling and friendly.
So like if the person asking the questions was like
Yeah, if they had like a warm,
voice and friendly.
friendly demeanor,
Yeah.
they were more likely to like,
Misremember things.
yeah.
Oh.
It's because it triggered this like
Okay.
a subconscious desire to please
Oh, so it was like
the questioner.
they wanted to answer in a way that would make the person happy?
Yeah. And it influenced their memory.
That's so crazy.
It's a reminder that cues
Yeah.
can be so subtle
Right.
and even unexpected.
Wow. Okay.
So
So
it-
now we need to figure out,
Yeah, so how do we apply this to our own habits?
right, like how do we even know?
How do you become more aware
Yeah.
of those cues?
Do I have to carry around a little notepad?
No, it doesn't have to be that complicated.
Okay.
Just start by paying attention to the context.
Okay.
What time of day is it?
Okay.
Where are you?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you with?
Oh, God.
What emotions are you feeling?
Okay. So I'm like really getting into the nitty-gritty details.
Yeah. Carefully observe these patterns.
Okay.
And you'll start to identify
Okay.
those cues that
Here.
trigger your routine.
Step 1, identify the routine.
Yes.
Step 2, experiment with rewards.
Yes.
Step 3,
Isolate the cue.
isolate the cue.
Right.
And step 4.
Okay, so step 4
Yes.
is the final piece of the puzzle,
Okay.
having a plan.
Okay.
So once you understand the cue,
Yeah.
the routine,
And the reward,
yeah,
you can create a strategy
okay,
to interrupt the habit loop
okay,
and replace it with a new,
okay.
healthier behavior.
So it's not just like, I'm
Yeah.
going to change.
It's not enough to just wish for change.
Right. I actually need a plan
You need a concrete plan of action.
So my willpower.
And this is where that willpower
comes back.
Into play.
Oh,
Because you need to know exactly how you're going to respond.
Yeah, because if I don't...
When those cravings hit.
Yeah, and then I just go back to my old habits.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, we covered.
Like the habit loop, cravings, belief, willpower.
Right.
But then he doesn't stop there.
He keeps going.
He goes on to talk about...
social connections.
Right.
Relationships.
Yeah, how those things
influence our behaviors.
And so he uses that example of the Montgomery bus boycott.
Oh, yeah.
So like...
Powerful, exactly. I know the story of Rosa Parks not giving up her seat.
Right, and that's sparking the boycott.
Yeah, but like what does that have to do with...
Well, the boycott wasn't just about one person's act of defiance.
Okay.
It was fueled by the social habits of an entire community.
Okay.
People participated because they felt a sense of obligation, a desire to stand together, and even a fear of social repercussions.
Oh, wow.
If they didn't participate.
So it was like more than just...
It was more than just individual willpower.
Well, it was like a collective...
It was the collective habits.
Yeah.
Shared expectations, social norms that gave the movement its momentum.
Yeah. And so thinking about that, like that applies to other things too.
Yeah, to so many areas of our lives.
Yeah, like...
Think about how gyms use social connections to increase member retention.
Right. It's not just about
the workout.
Going and working out.
It's about the community.
It's about the community.
And the support system.
Right. Like if I have a workout buddy,
yeah,
I'm way more likely.
More accountable.
Yeah.
And you have that encouragement when you're feeling unmotivated.
Right. It's like a built-in support system.
A built-in support system
for your
habit change.
Yeah. But what about like those social connections?
Right. What about
that aren't helpful?
Ones that might be hindering your progress.
If my friends all want to eat pizza.
Yeah, like the friends who tempt you with unhealthy snacks.
Yeah.
Or the colleagues who encourage you to procrastinate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's like that saying, you're the average.
It's that old saying.
Of the 5 people.
You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Right. So if you're hanging out with people.
So if you're surrounded by people. Who reinforce your bad habits.
It's going to be really hard.
It's going to be much harder to break free.
So part of my plan.
Yeah. So part of creating a plan
needs to be
for habit change.
Looking at
might involve
my social circles.
Taking a look at your social circles.
And like maybe changing that up a bit.
Yeah. And making sure they're aligned with your goals.
Right.
And it might even involve, you know, setting some boundaries or seeking out new communities.
Right.
That support your desired behaviors.
Okay, so then this is making me think about like...
This whole conversation about social habits has me thinking.
About how this could apply to...
Yeah, how these principles apply to larger groups.
Organizations or companies or even like...
Like organizations?
Yeah, like society as a whole.
Or even entire society.
Right.
Because there's all the same principle.
Yeah.
That govern individual habits.
Yeah.
Also apply to organizations.
So companies can have habits.
Even large companies.
Really?
With all their...
Even with all their fancy...
strategic planning.
Yeah.
Data analysis.
Yeah.
They're often driven by...
Really?
Deeply ingrained routines.
So they're not as smart as they think they are.
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
An organization's habits emerge from the collective behaviors of its employees.
Okay.
All those individual routines.
Yeah.
Patterns of interaction.
Yeah.
It creates a kind of organizational subconscious.
No, so like a company does have a brain.
Yeah. And just like personal habits.
Yeah.
These collective behaviors can have a huge impact on a company's success or failure.
So like
it's a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
And just like...
A company has a personality.
Yeah.
Based on...
And just like individual habits.
It's habits.
Organizational habits.
Wow.
Can be incredibly difficult to change, especially when they've been entrenched for years or even decades.
So how do you even change?
So how do you shift the habits of an entire organization? Like how...
That seems like a monumental task.
Yeah, it does seem like a big task, trying to change like a whole company.
It's not always about like, you know, top-down mandates or individual persuasion.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes like a catalyst.
Okay.
A significant event that disrupts the status quo and creates an opportunity for change.
Okay.
So Duhigg talks about this guy, Paul O'Neill,
who
was the former CEO of Alcoa.
Okay.
And he made worker safety his top priority.
Okay.
Which was a radical shift for a company known for its hazardous working conditions.
So he was like tackling their bad habits.
Yeah, he was basically...
Yeah, tackling the company's ingrained safety habits head on.
But did people, like, push back?
You're right. Yeah. There was initial skepticism.
Yeah, because it's like...
People thought it was just another management fad.
Yeah, just a flavor of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But O'Neill was persistent.
Okay.
He held everyone accountable.
Okay.
From executives to frontline workers.
Wow.
And he fostered this culture where safety became a core value.
Okay.
Not just an afterthought.
So instead of just like telling people to be safe.
Yeah, he created a system, a new set of organizational habits that prioritize safety at every level.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and this focus on safety, it had this ripple effect.
Oh, wow.
Throughout the organization.
Okay.
It changed how people approached their work, how they communicated with each other.
Right.
And ultimately, it led to a dramatic decrease in accidents.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's
a powerful example of how changing organizational habits
can really make a difference.
Yeah, it can lead to real, tangible results.
And so all the stuff we're talking about...
All these principles.
It's not just about me.
They're not just about...
personal growth.
They have implications for how we operate in groups.
Yeah.
Companies,
society,
and even society as a whole.
Right. It's like a secret decoder ring.
Absolutely.
For life.
Yeah. It's like we have this framework for understanding why we do.
Why we do what we do.
What we do, and a set of tools.
And we can actually make change.
For making lasting change. And the good news is, even the most deeply ingrained habits, whether they're individual or organizational, they can be changed.
They can be changed.
It's not easy.
Okay.
But it's definitely possible.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, we've come full circle.
Habit loop.
Yeah, we've explored...
cravings.
Habit loop. Power of cravings.
Yeah. Willpower.
The importance of belief.
Social habits.
The influence of social and organizational factors.
Organizational habits.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has.
It has.
I feel like I've learned a lot.
And hopefully this deep dive has equipped you with a deeper understanding of the forces that shape your behavior.
Absolutely.
And the possibilities for change.
And this is just from this one book.
Right. This is just from The Power of Habit.
Right. And there's so much more out there.
Yeah, there's so much more research on this.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great starting point.
It is.
Yeah.
This has been a great deep dive into the power of habit.
Absolutely.
So now I'm thinking about all my habits.
Yeah, now you're probably seeing them everywhere.
Yeah, I am.
That's a good thing.
It is.
Awareness is the first step to change.
Okay. So what habits are you going to change?
Yeah, what habits are you going to focus on?
What changes will you make?
What changes will you make?
It's really up to us.
You have the power to shape your own destiny.
Yeah.
One habit at a time.
I love that.
Yeah.